bolster or grab a pillow. And I thought it would be nice to begin, and you know, there's nothing, no hard and fast to this. If there's another position that you would like to start in, please feel free to do that. But what I'm gonna offer is beginning with a gentle back bend. So that's where a pillow is really nice if you don't want a very deep back bend. If you are using a bolster, you might wanna do a blanket here for your head. It should feel just easy. It shouldn't feel like too much. So you want to just support your head and your neck as much as you need to. If you start out on the bolster and that bolster feels like it's just too much, it's too deep of a back bend, then maybe go and grab a, just a couch pillow would work great. We just want to open, right? We want to kind of counter the posture that most of us tend to be in throughout our day. Right? We want to have that feeling of the chest opening and expanding. So once you get comfy, feel free to, at any time in this practice, to close your eyes. We enter into a yin practice, and it's to balance the yang, right? The yin and the yang. And so the yin is quiet and passive. It's associated with the moon, with darkness. So it's always a nice idea just to close your eyes, particularly if you've been staring at a computer screen all day. It'll feel nice just to relieve the eye strain. You might want to take a few eye circles before you begin. That can feel really nice to release eye strain. So just simply, opening your eyes, rolling your eyes in some circles, both directions, just kind of looking up, sideways, and down as far as you can. Maybe doing that a couple of times, both directions. And then taking a real nice long drink of air, breathing it in, and then breathing it out all the way. So just focusing on really releasing all the breath out. As you breathe in, your next in-breath, breathe in spaciousness and acceptance of what is. Breathe out resistance. Breathe in possibility and optimism. Breathe out fear and doubt. Just letting it go. Breathe in ease. And breathe out the need to change the way this moment is unfolding. Breathe in the certainty that what we really are is so much bigger than pain and suffering. And breathe out limitations and conditioning. Take another nice big breath in, just feeling a sense of openness to the present moment. And just breathing out a prayer of thanks that even in the midst of difficulty, there is awareness. There is an opportunity to carve out some space and some time for yourself to come back to what feels grounding and what feels supportive. And just put a little bit of space between ourselves and the world around us for at least for the next hour. Feel your body opening up to receive this shape that you're in. Just letting your awareness rest in sensation and breath. We hold these poses longer in the yin practice to give to give ample time to really unwind and unleash some of the tension and the tightness that builds up over time. I don't know about you, but for me, often that tightness and that tension, I feel it in my physical body, but so much of it starts in our mind. It starts with our thoughts, and it gets transposed into our body. It manifests in the physical. Just being aware, just where you're holding tension right now. Do your best to get out of the thinking mind and begin to move into the feeling, sensing part of your brain. Just feel your belly expanding as you breathe in. And just that quality of grounding and releasing as you breathe out. That softening. Just take a couple more breaths here. And then from here, we're going to take the bolster or the pillow or whatever you were using as a prop underneath and just set it off to the side. Grab either the bolster, or if you want to use a blanket, or if you want to use the bolster again, you can use either. So what we're going to do, I'm going to demonstrate with the bolster. If you want to use something a little bit not quite as high, if you prefer to use, a folded blanket or towel, pillow, you can do that. I'm going to demonstrate with the bolster. So now we're going to put this bolster underneath our bottom. So make sure your hips are up on it, your whole sacrum. And we're just going to do a passive psoas release here. So I'm going to demonstrate with both legs stretched out like this. If that feels like too much on your back, go ahead and just bend one knee. You can just do one side at a time. And you want it so that kind of the pinnacle of the stretch is right in that soft area right in the front of your hips. We want to passively release the psoas muscle, which runs attachment at the femur bone. It runs up through the center of the hip socket and it attaches in a few different places down in the lower vertebrae in your lumbar spine. Just make sure your feet are maybe just a little bit wider than the hips. And again, just turn your awareness, your attention to the sensory experience. Just the simplicity of the breath coming in, feeling yourself expand, and the breath leaving the body. Quality of letting go. If you were just doing one leg at a time, I want you to Take the leg that you had stretched out, bend that knee, and then go ahead and stretch your other leg out, and we'll release the front of that opposite leg hip. You might notice that your awareness, your attention will just kind of travel. It'll flit and move from one sensory experience to another. So you might move from just noticing the breath, rising and falling of the chest and the belly, and then maybe you might notice some sounds in your space, white noise. You might spend a little time on the sensation that you're feeling in your body. Just do your best to keep it just to simply being aware that you're being the silent witness or observer to what you're experiencing, rather than getting caught up in dialogue, judgment. Good. Let's go ahead, one at a time. You can bring both knees into your chest. You're going to feel a little bit of a stretch in your back. If you need to scoot yourself a little bit off the bolster, it might feel nice just to keep part of your bottom on the bolster or the pillow and just feel that stretch in the lower back. And then you can just slide that bolster or that pillow, just kind of lift your butt and just slide that out from underneath you. You're going to want to set that off to the side. And then let's just do a little bit of movement here before we move into our next. So just take your arms and legs straight up towards the ceiling and circle, make some nice circles with your wrists and your ankles. Just go in both directions. And then we're just gonna kind of shake your arms and your legs. You can do like a shaking or a jiggling or a gentle kicking motion. Just kind of get your arms and legs sort of moving. And there's no right or wrong to this, just stay with it. Just kind of moving any nervous or anxious energy that might have built up over the course of the day or over the course of the last few days. Shaking everything out. Okay. And then go ahead and bring your feet down. So we're going to move into a twist. This particular twist, when done in the full kind of capacity of this strap twist, it's called cat pulling its tail. So you're going to start, and I'm going to show you some options. You might want to have that strap handy. So left leg is going to go straight, and we'll start by twisting, taking the right knee, bringing it in. You're going to take that right knee over to your left. Now keep in mind, you can always prop, if you want to prop that inner right knee on a bolster. If you need a little bit, kind of just to back off slightly, you can do that. You have a couple of different options here. You can keep the knee bent and just have your left hand on the outside of the knee. You could try to extend that right leg straight, holding on more towards the ankle or just grabbing onto the calf if you can. You might even hold on to the foot, and this is where that strap can come in really handy. So you can take a strap over the bottom of the right foot and just hold onto the strap like this, okay? And you can just stay right here, and this is as far as maybe you want to go with this particular posture. One final option that might be interesting, maybe after a period of time, maybe not right out of the gate here, is to bend the left leg, so that's the one that's underneath. Reach down, and maybe, just maybe, you get hold of that left foot in your right hand, okay? If you happen to get there, then maybe you start to just work the rest of your breaths on just softening through your upper back and shoulders. Just doing your best there. So I really invite you to explore what is going to work best for you in this pose. So I know I showed you a lot of options. You know, you might be holding that bottom leg, maybe not. Maybe that top leg, that right leg is actually bent. Maybe you have it supported with a bolster underneath. There's lots of options. The point is to just bring yourself to a place where you can rest, where you can just be fully present, or you can release yourself from the need or the desire to fidget and to move and constantly be shifting. I mean, I realize sometimes you're going to have to make small adjustments. Go ahead and make them, but then see if you can just return back to a state of stillness. Ensuring that you're taking smooth, even, calm breaths. We're just going to take our last couple of breaths here. Really trying to let go wherever you can. Just releasing any last little bits of tension that might still be there. Let's take our time coming out of this. So if you've got that bottom leg, maybe releasing that first. If you've got a strap, just peeling that right foot out of your strap. Bringing everything back to center. And I want you just to pause here for a few moments. You can have your knees bent, feet on the floor. Take a big breath into your belly. Let it expand. Let out a sigh. Let out some sound through the mouth. It's great. Nobody can hear you. Do it again. Take a big breath in. Let out any. Maybe it's just breath. Maybe it's no sound. Just be authentic with what you're feeling. Okay? I'm going to spin myself around. While I'm doing that, you can rock your knees into your chest, maybe into the crease of the elbows, and just gently rock from side to side. Let the head roll from side to side. Again, you may have your eyes closed. Just help help soothe and calm your nervous system. Good. All right, let's go ahead and come back to center. So we still have another leg left, don't forget. So we're gonna do, and I'm just gonna demonstrate with the strap. You don't have to use a strap if you don't have one, don't worry about it. So right leg is gonna just be resting on the ground, the left leg is gonna come up and over again. You could have this knee bent, you might have a bolster propped underneath this leg, so it would just come to about here. Could be holding onto the leg with your hand instead of the strap. You want to take your opposite arm, that left arm, and just reach that left arm out and over. And maybe you just take a few breaths here to begin. Just give yourself some time here. And then after you feel the spine beginning to release and relax, then maybe you reach down, grab for that bottom leg, that right foot, or not. There's always choices, and there's no right or wrong choice. There's only the choice that you're going to make in this moment. It might not be the same choice you made the last time you did this pose, if you've ever done this pose before. What I really encourage you to do always is just to learn how to listen to your body. Listen to what it needs, not what the mind, what the head thinks it should have, but what the body actually needs. Sometimes those two are not congruent. Wherever you are, just breathing in, just a real sense of openness and spaciousness, just visualizing in your upper back, in your back of your shoulders, up through your throat and neck. Relaxing the jaw, and letting there be a sense of openness and spaciousness up through your sinuses and right through the crown of your head. Just enjoying the sensory experience. It's not a thinking experience, it's just a feeling experience right now. We're going to slowly release out of this, so go ahead and if you do have that bottom foot, go ahead and start by letting go of that. Let go of your strap if you have a strap. Gently, slowly start to bring that left leg back to center. You can bend both knees again and just let the back, the lower back and spine relax here for a moment. Go ahead and take your knees just a little bit wider than your hips. gently just start to take your knees from left to right, so you don't have to do them at the same time. You can kind of just do one, just explore some movement here. Just noticing the subtle feelings, sensations through each part of this movement. Let's come back to center, and we're going to move into a pose called Banana Asana. This is a deep side stretch. So with your knees bent, this is sometimes an easy way to get into it. Just walk your feet, both feet over to the right. Try to keep both back sides of your bottom on the floor. And then you can start to walk your upper body, your shoulders and your head also over to the right. So you kind of feel like your spine is starting to come into this crescent moon shape. And then you can extend your legs and then extend your arms, so you might reach up with your right hand. So we're bending over to the right, so you would grab your right hand, take your left wrist in your right hand, or if you want to just fold the elbows, you can do that, fold forearms. You can cross your left foot over your right if you want. If you want to feel like you can take that stretch just a little bit further. Let the back of your head be heavy. Let's release tension in your jaw. Sometimes when I do this one, I'll actually keep, like in this instance, we're bending to the right. Sometimes I'll keep the right knee bent. Just kind of depends upon how my back is feeling, so that might be an option for you to explore. Just find our way right to the edge of the deepest sensation of the stretch, and then reside there. Find a way to be at ease with just the sensation of the stretch, which may feel uncomfortable, right? This is where the practice begins. Being able to sit with what is. Make sure that you're still breathing nice, deep and steady. We're going to slowly release back to center. And you can bend your knees again if you'd like, and then we're just going to take this stretch and we're going to take it over to the left. So just walk the feet over, walk the head and shoulders over, make sure both your shoulder blades stay on the floor. Extend the right leg, maybe you extend both legs, maybe you keep this left leg bent. Reach up, maybe grab the wrist or grab an elbow or forearm. You might see me looking at my phone from time to time. I'm not checking my text messages. I'm actually using it for a timer because my new smartwatch does not have it's not very smart, I guess. It doesn't have a timer on it. All right, settle in here. You can always back off if you feel like you've gone too deep in a pose and it doesn't feel sustainable. There's always that opportunity just to back it off a little bit. So that you can find that quality of ease while still, you Getting a nice deep release. Slowly start to come back and take it back to center. Oh, just give yourself a moment there. And you might want to hug the knees in again. Maybe just rock a little bit from left to right. Go ahead and bring yourself up to seated. Actually, you could probably just flip over onto your belly from where you are, now that I think about it. So we're gonna do, this is just lately one of my favorite releases for the chest and the front deltoids. So you're gonna be on your belly. And if you want to watch up here, if you're not familiar with this one, you've not done it, we'll start with the right arm. You're going to take your right arm out to the side. You'll use your left hand on the mat. So you're going to use that to roll onto your right side. So as you're rolling, you really want to kind of explore what position you want to have that right arm in, so that you can feel the deepest, just kind of feel that stretch where you need to, and then you can bend the bottom knee so that you don't tip over. All right, so you've got your right arm out like this. And if you look up here, this is where you want to be feeling this. So you want to feel it across the front of your shoulder here. And hopefully you can get into a position where you can feel it across your pectoral muscles here, across the front of your chest. You only go, don't take it too far, just go as far as you need to until you really feel that stretch. Have that sense of curiosity, that willingness to explore different positions, right? Explore your body. Just simply notice what you're feeling. Come back to the tools that you have to keep the nervous system and keep the mind calm. So in some of these poses, there can be a tendency for the mind or the body to begin to kind of race. Some of these postures can trigger anxiety, they can trigger emotions. So just notice what's happening, if that's happening, and just take yourself to those tools, the coming back to the breath, the inhale, particularly exhale, that helps us to relax, stimulates that parasympathetic nervous system. Slowly come back onto the belly. I want you just to, for the time being, is just rest your arms by your side and turn a cheek. Just let your cheek rest. If that bothers you, you can always rest on your chin. You can need to use the other hand to make a little pillow for your forehead, you could do that. Just take a nice big long breath into your whole back body. Feel the back of your back, your back of your legs, back of your neck. Breathe into all of that, and then as you exhale, just soften and relax there. Let everything get really heavy, just releasing into the earth underneath you. Do that one more time. Breathe all the way in. Maybe let out a little sigh or some sound if you want again, but just breathe it all the way back out. Just letting yourself get just like a limp noodle. Alright, let's move to the other side. So just stay on your belly right where you are, and this time you're going to take your left arm out to the side. Use your right hand to kind of roll yourself onto that left side of your body. Bend the bottom leg so that you have a nice little foundation there, a little kickstand. Explore, asking yourself, where can I put that arm, and do I need to bend the elbow? Do I need to keep the arm straight to really access? Where am I tight? Am I tighter in the front deltoid there, in the front of the shoulder, or is it more across the chest there, those pectoral muscles? And then how can I position my arms so that I can get into those spots? Begin to breathe the breath in, almost as if that breath is an elixir, right? A life-giving elixir. It's moving and just washing away tension. It's washing away anxiety, fatigue, frustration, anger, fear, just whoosh, just letting it go. Going to be here for just one or two more breaths. And slowly again, just roll back onto your belly. Take your arms by your side. Rest of forehead, just make sure that you're comfortable on your belly, and I want you just to take a nice, slow, long, deep breath in. And then let it all the way out. Let the body get heavy. Let the back body soften. Do that one more time. Maybe this time you let out a little sigh, or just the sound of the air leaving your body. Go ahead and come up to your hands and knees. Let's just take a little bit of a pit stop here. And let's do some cat-cow movement on our hands and knees. So start by arcing your back, let the belly release towards the floor. Press your hands into the floor to straighten the arms, lift the chest, maybe stretch the chin forward. That's your in-breath. As your exhale, you're rounding the spine. Tuck your chin. Maybe you take the hips back a little bit. Find your rhythm. If you find a spot that feels really, really good, stop there. Stay there a little bit longer. more movement, maybe some hip circles. Good. All right, we're gonna just do a little bit of a stretch for our feet and our forearms. Same time, you're gonna curl your toes under. Watch me, I'm gonna sit back on my heels, and then you're gonna spin your fingers. Just bring them right in front of your knees like this, like I have mine. You're just gonna put your hands down, wrists underneath your shoulders. So stretching the forearms, stretching the wrists, and also getting the fascia tissue, your plantar fascia on the feet. Nice little stretch there as well. Try to stay relaxed. I know, easier said than done sometimes. All right. And then let's slowly get off. Just go ahead and release the feet. You can come onto the top of the feet here for just a few moments. Make a nice tight fist with your hands and then just roll your wrist like this. This is a really nice one if you spend a lot of time on a keyboard, you do a lot of typing. Okay, shake it out. Give that a real good shake. Okay. So I thought maybe I would give you a choice here for this next posture, okay? I know that's challenging for some of you, and sometimes you don't want to have to think, you don't want to have to make a choice. If you don't want to make a choice, I'll have you come into butterfly. So bottoms of your feet together, knees out. Feel free to prop underneath the outer knees if you need a little bit of support for your hips. Prop your forehead if you want to prop your forehead on the edge of a bolster. You could even prop it on the edge of your couch. The nice thing about being at home is you got all kinds of props available to you. So the second pose, so this is a nice one. You're going to feel this more in your inner hip flexors here. You will feel it a little bit in the hips and also in the lower back. The second option I'll offer you is a double pigeon. So crossing your legs, you want to have a little bit of space here between the legs, but crossing at the shins. Take a look down, make sure you notice which leg is in front. I'll have you swap halfway through. Just a little bit of flex in the feet. So with this double pigeon, then you're just going to simply walk with both of them, butterfly or double pigeon. You can just slowly walk the hands forward. You want to, again, just go right to the edge of that strong sensation. It shouldn't be painful. It should just feel like that deep stretch. And then simply, I like to think of it as submitting. Just submit to the posture, to the pose, breath by breath. Exhale by exhale. To be in double pigeon, you can switch the cross of your legs, so just take the leg that's in the front, put it behind the other, just reestablish the feet, and then slowly start to forward fold. If you have blocks and you get close, a block is a really nice prop for the forehead. So is a bolster. The nice thing about the props is it holds your head in a way that your neck doesn't have to work as hard. You don't have to put that added extra strain on the neck to hold the weight of the head. yourself to get more and more quiet, more still. Just being the passive witness, observer to your experience. And slowly starting to come on up, just gently easing your way out. You can lean back a little bit here, and then we're just going to take the legs out in front of us. And that should feel really nice after being in that position for a while. Go ahead and let's roll the ankles a little bit. Just take your feet in some circles. Maybe windshield wiper the feet back and forth if that feels good. And then I like to do this. I like to just use the heel of your hand right here and just kind of iron out the thighs. So you can start at the top of the thigh and kind of work down on the outside of the legs, the IT band, and then go down the top of the thighs. Massage your knees around the kneecaps. And then just take that all the way down. Just kind of give a little bit of pressure down on your calves, down to your ankles. Just tap the legs a little bit. All right. So we're going to come into Paschimottanasana, or caterpillar, as we call it when we're doing the yin practice. I like to put a blanket underneath my bottom for this one. And if you do have a bolster, that can be a really nice prop when we are doing this particular pose, and I'll show you how you can use it. A couple different ways depending upon your hamstrings. So take your feet about as wide as your hips. So we're just going to do a forward fold. We're just going to be leaning forward. So you might, depending upon how far you're going to be able to get, you might just prop your forehead on your bolster like this. Okay? You might prop it like this. Or a final option, if you get down deeper, is to even just take your bolster flat on your shins like that, and then just, you can lie your head either on the bolster or on your forearms. Or you might take that whole, what I just suggested, you might take it in stages and do a combination of all three of those, perhaps. When I do this pose, I often start out with my feet flexed. Just for a little while, I like to kind of just really give the backs of the legs and the hamstrings just a really nice stretch. So we're stretching, really stretching the fibers. Feel free to let your back round for this one. So this is how it varies a little bit from a more active Paschimottanasana, where you keep the back flat and lean forward. I brought along something to share with you, and feel free to tune in with your listening or not. I think this can be applicable to many of us. I don't share it very frequently, but I have struggled in the past with addiction, and I think we all can get a little bit overdosed and maybe going down a road time and time again that really doesn't really work for us, but somehow we find ourselves back on that same road again, making the same mistake and doing the same thing over. And I just really love this. I feel like it just helps me to not be so hard on myself. You may have heard this before. It's called an autobiography in 5 short chapters. Chapter 1. I walk down the street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I fall in. I am lost. I am helpless. It isn't my fault. It takes forever to find a way out. Chapter 2. I walk down the same street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I still don't see it. I fall in again. I can't believe I am in the same place. It isn't my fault. It still takes a long time to get out. Chapter 3. I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I see it is there. I still fall in. It's habit. It's my fault. I know where I am. I get out immediately. Chapter 4. I walk down the street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I walk around it. Chapter 5. I walk down a different street. It's a good little reminder. I just always keep that one. Sometimes we just find ourselves walking down the same street over and over. It's the awareness piece that changes everything. It's becoming aware of what you're doing, and that's why this practice is so life-changing, because we cultivate an awareness of our actions and what we're doing, and what we're thinking. Whereas before, at least I know in my past, there wasn't a conscious pause. There wasn't that deep sense of awareness to cause me to pause and catch myself. Slowly, slowly begin to ease your way out of this. Take your time. So when you come to seated, I want you just to pause here for a moment. You can have your eyes open or you can have your eyes closed, just sitting up nice and tall. I want you just to take a moment just to feel the effects of that posture, the energy, just that feeling of, I don't know, when you come out of a deep forward fold, there's almost this sense of being renewed, revitalized, restored. You might feel some tingling, sensation of more blood flowing through the system, or maybe you might feel just a greater sense of lightness in your head or in your body. So it's nice just to take a moment and recognize that, right? Just be aware of it. All right, we're in the home stretch, folks. We're going to come onto our backs. This is our last posture, and then we'll rest. We're just going to spend a little bit of time in happy baby. So feel free to put your blanket down if you'd like. Feel free to use a strap if you feel like you don't want to try to reach all the way up to your feet, if you can't. Otherwise, you could just hold on to your ankles. You just want to let your feet go wide. I personally like to just hold on to the inside of my foot. I kind of grab a little bit closer to the heel. But whatever feels natural for you, and just let your knees go wide. Keep your ankles stacked relatively over your knees. And again, you might want to close the eyes. You might want to take some deep breaths into your belly here, just to release any residual leftover tension you might be holding there. So as you breathe in, just allowing or encouraging your belly to expand. Exhale, just letting everything go. If you want to rock a little bit here, just gently rock a little bit from left to right if that feels good. Gently release your feet and stretch your legs out in front of you. Please feel free to find a pillow or a bolster to put underneath the back of your knees. Maybe you want to support your head with a pillow or just a little bit of a folded blanket. Maybe you want to cover up with a blanket. Just make yourself comfortable. Yourself settle in, just completely releasing yourself and enjoying, really enjoying the ease of not having to do anything. Nowhere to be, nothing to do right in this moment. Just the simplicity of that. The body resting on the earth. Just encouraging any last little bits of holding, of tension, just encouraging through that exhale just to melt that last little bit of stress away. You're ready to come out, please feel free to do so. And if you feel like what you need right now is just to continue to lie on your back and rest, then I welcome you to do that as well. But I do thank you, and I want to say that it was a real honor and a pleasure to practice with you. Thank you so much. Be well and be safe. Namaste.